If you followed my recent videos, you'll know that they've been about helping newer players, so this one is to help those who are a little more advanced. This guide will go over some advanced techniques to incorporate into your game to help you take it to the next level. They vary in usefulness and difficulty, and some you may already be familiar with, but hopefully you'll pick up something new. Wasting no further time, let's get started. Number 1 is a skill that so many people need to improve, including myself. Watch this clip from one of my recent games and tell me what is about to happen when it pauses. Get it? Well done if you did. If not, here it is again. But this time we'll break it down. An opponent who has been passive up until now steps forward beyond the minions and starts an engage out of the blue. The answer is I'm about to be ganked. Identifying when an opponent's attack patterns change is the biggest telltale sign that the enemy jungler is nearby and has told them to attack. While wards will save your life, you can never rule out the possibility that the enemy jungler has just bypassed them. Watch out for this tell and retreat back to your tower line. Or if you're too low on health and susceptible to a tower dive, then just get out of there completely. Following on is how to manipulate the wave to your advantage. The worst place you can be in lane is stuck under your tower, unable to step out because the enemy is stronger and waiting to kill you. Minions who die under your tower give less gold, and less gold is a bad thing. It's therefore tempting, when you can actually step out of your tower, to just clear the enemy wave as fast as possible like a greedy little god. But this might not actually be the smartest thing, and the reason is because of something called lane freezing. To explain it best, we need to flip the situation around. Let's pretend you are the one in control and the enemy is fully camped under their own tower, while you can just freely clear the minions. By clearing the wave quickly, you stop your own wave from taking any damage, meaning that when it arrives at the enemy tower line, they can clear it for full gold and XP. However, if you think smartly, you can wait out as the minions fight in the middle of the lane and just last hit the low health ones. This gives the same amount of gold as if you had done all the damage, and it means that less of your own minions will make it down the lane for the enemy to clear. In effect, you are starving them of gold and experience, meaning they have to wait under tower getting less than you, or they have to engage you and force a fight. But let's flip it back. Let's say it's happening to you. You don't want the opposition to be able to do this to you, so you need to change the point where the minions meet in the lane, and you want it to be as close to your tower as possible. So, if you are on the back foot, when you do get the chance to kill the minions just outside your tower line, you should delay the fight and allow your minions to come up the lane and fight them close. This makes sure you are still getting the full amount of experience and gold, and it stops the opponent lane freezing you. They then may also be likely to stand close to your tower line, leaving them vulnerable to a gank, and allowing the pressure to switch back into your favour. Number 3 is auto-cancelling. I've already made a full guide on this where I go into all the detail you will possibly need, so I'll post a link in the description and I'll only touch upon it briefly here. Auto-cancelling is a technique to maximise your damage output and should be done on every god, and for some gods it needs to be done to really get the most out of them. Read up on it and incorporate it into your play. Next we move on to something very niche indeed, but it is something that the very top players do. It's lining up your CCs to get the most out of diminishing returns. Diminishing returns is the reduction in duration of subsequent crowd controls. After being hit by one, the next one within 15 seconds will only apply for 66% of its duration, and any further will only be 33%. However, some crowd controls are immune to the effects of diminishing returns, so if you apply them last in a chain of crowd controls, they will apply for their full duration, regardless of what came before. Pulls, knockups, grabs and pushbacks, and for some reason Danzaburow's taunts, are immune to this. A practical example of where this might come in useful is, let's say you are playing Kepri and an opponent in front of you is stunned by somebody else for 1 second. You now have a choice. You can either grab and then root, or root and then grab. If you do the first one, the root will only be applied for 33% of its duration, but if you do the second one, you are maximising the time the opponent is crowd controlled for. While this may seem like the tiniest of differences, and to be honest it is, these can make the difference in extremely clutch situations. Next up is to know your timings of the map, and I don't mean jungle buff timers or objectives. What I mean is, let's say the enemy backs to base. How long do you have before they get back to lane? Or the enemy jungler is in the far lane. How long do you have before they can get over to you? Has the enemy started a fire giant which you can't contest? Then how long do you have to steal the gold fury? Well, luckily for you, I've compiled the most important ones here. Now obviously these will vary slightly with pathing, movement speed items, movement speed abilities or teleports, so each one is give or take a few seconds and scenario specific. But as a starting point, with boots, from base to lane is roughly 25 seconds. From mid lane to either side lane is around 15 seconds. Side lane to side lane is 35 seconds. And side lane to the opposite objective is roughly 25 seconds. Know these timings and know how long you have to invade, attack or take an objective safely before the opposition has time to get over to you. Finally, we have mastering the ability to pre-beads. Good players beads out of abilities quickly, great ones beads before the ability lands. This negates any crowd control at all and can completely block an enemy's engage. Single target ultimates like Neja, Fenrir, Heimdall and Ao Kuang are all stopped in their tracks by a well-timed beads. Recognise when one is incoming and learn the timings to help you win those clutch 1v1s. That's the end of the list. Thank you very much for watching. I hope it taught you something and allows you to take your game to the next level. Before we go, a quick shout out to Raydil, who got 20 out of 20 on the latest Smite quiz. Good job, buddy. So once again, thanks for watching and good luck out there.